The sky turned dark that afternoon. It wasn't the usual kind of darkness before rain, it was heavier. The clouds sat low like they were angry. Birds flew around in confusion, and the wind began to blow wildly. Mama F looked up at the sky and said, "Adanna, pack the clothes from the line. It's going to be serious." I ran outside and grabbed the wrapper, the brown dress, and a few shirts we had washed. As I reached for the last cloth, the first drop hit me, cold and sharp like a warning. Then the heavens opened. Rain poured like it had been waiting for years. Big, wild drops slammed the ground. The roof of the church rattled loudly. The trees shook like they were afraid. We rushed inside, soaked to the skin. I dropped the clothes on a bench and sat down, breathing hard. My wrapper clung to my legs. My hair dripped water down my back. Mama F looked at me and chuckled. "You look like a cat that fell inside a drum of water." I laughed, teeth chattering. At least I saved the clothes. She pulled a dry wrapper from the shelf and threw it at me. "Go and change before you catch cold." As I stepped into the back room to change, I heard a loud knock on the front door. Then again, harder this time. "Who's that?" Mama F called. "It's me, Obina." My heart jumped. I came out quickly, the wrapper tied tightly around me, water still dripping from my hair. Mama opened the door and Obina rushed in, also soaked from head to toe. He looked like a statue carved from rain, shirt clinging to his chest, water running down his face. "You came in this rain?" Mama asked, surprised. I was passing by and saw the wind shaking the church roof. I wanted to help cover it before it flies off. Even in a storm, he thought of us. Mama gave him a dry cloth. "Sit down before you melt." He smiled, sat down, and looked at me. "I told you," he said softly. "This rain, it's the kind that brings change." I didn't know what he meant then. But I would learn soon. We all sat in silence for a while, listening to the sound of the rain. It was loud, but somehow comforting. Obina looked around and said, "This place reminds me of home. Small, quiet, but full of love." I looked at him, my chest tightening. How could he see love in this place? In this broken, patched-up church with leaking roofs and cracked walls. But maybe he wasn't looking at the building. Maybe he was looking at me. Later, when the rain slowed, he stood to leave. As he reached the door, he turned and said, "Next Sunday, I bring something for you." "What is it?" I asked. He grinned. "If I tell you now, it won't be a surprise." Then he disappeared into the misty rain, leaving a small puddle behind and a big thought in my heart. Obina had become part of my day without even trying. And it scared me. Because every good thing I ever had in life was taken. I should have known peace never lasts. It was the morning of the next Sunday. The sun came out early, sharp and hot, like it was chasing away the cold from the last rain. I wore my brown dress, the only one I had, and tied a red ribbon Mama F found for me in my hair. "You look beautiful," she said, smiling with pride. "Obina will faint when he sees you." I blushed. "It's just a dress, Mama." "No, my daughter," she replied, looking at me with soft eyes. "It's not the dress. It's the light in your eyes." But I didn't feel like light. I felt nervous. Scared. Because deep down, I was waiting for something to go wrong. And it did. Church ended later than usual. Obina had brought me a gift, a tiny wooden butterfly he carved himself. It had wings painted with bright colors. "I saw this," he said, placing it gently in my palm, "and thought of you." I stared at it, speechless. "Why a butterfly?" I finally asked. "Because it used to be a worm. But it didn't die. It changed." I swallowed hard. "Thank you," I whispered. I couldn't look him in the eye. If I did, I would break. We walked back with Mama F after church, laughing, carrying baskets of yam and vegetables given to her by members of the church. Everything seemed perfect. Until we heard the knock. It came just as Mama stepped into the kitchen to check the firewood. Obinna had gone to get his sewing bag from behind the church. I was alone in the front room, still holding the wooden butterfly. Knock, knock, knock. Loud. Angry. I opened the door slowly. And my heart dropped. It was my stepmother. Alabo. She stood there with her hands on her hips and poison in her eyes. "Huh," she hissed. "So it's true. You ran here like a thief and now you're dressing like a village queen." My voice caught in my throat. What are you doing here?" She pushed past me into the room like she owned it. "Shut your dirty mouth. You think you can run away and shame me? You think the village doesn't talk? You're here chasing boys and eating free food like a greedy goat." Tears filled my eyes, but I held my ground. "This is my home now." She laughed, wicked and loud. "Your home? This rat hole? You are still my husband's daughter. And I came to take you back." I shook my head slowly. "No. I'm not going with you." "You don't have a choice," she screamed. "I gave you shelter, food, even my old clothes. You gave me bruises." I shouted back. "You made me your slave." The room went silent. Even the birds outside stopped chirping. Then I heard Obinna's voice. "Is there a problem?" He stepped into the doorway, holding his sewing bag, his face calm, but his eyes sharp like a blade. "Who are you?" Alabo spat. "I should ask you that," he said. "Because no one yells at Adanna in this place." She moved toward him. "Don't meddle in things that don't concern you, boy." "She's not going anywhere with you," he replied firmly. "You lost the right to call her family when you made her life a prison." "You dare speak to me like this?" she shrieked. Mama F rushed in. "Alabo. Get out of my house." Alabo turned to her. "You old witch. Feeding a runaway." Obinna stepped between them. "Touch her, and I swear." I grabbed his hand. "Obinna, please." The air was hot. Tense. One wrong word and fist would fly. Alabo hissed loudly, then turned and stormed out. But her final words made my blood run cold. "This isn't over, Adanna. You think you've escaped me? Just wait. You will cry blood." Then she vanished down the path like a shadow in daylight. And for the first time in weeks, I was truly afraid. Because evil never knocks just once. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay on the small mattress beside Mama F, but my eyes refused to close. Every sound outside felt like footsteps. Every creak of the wooden wall made my heart race. Mama had fallen asleep. Her soft snores filled the silence, but I was wide awake, gripping the wooden butterfly Obinna gave me like it was a weapon. Her words kept ringing in my head. "You will cry blood." Why did she come now? Why not weeks ago? What was she planning? I sat up and tiptoed to the small window, lifting the curtain just enough to peek outside. Moonlight spilled across the church compound. The trees swayed gently. Everything looked calm. But my chest was tight. I jumped when I heard the soft knock. Not on the door. On the window. I froze. Another knock. Quiet. Like someone didn't want the world to hear. I moved closer. And then I heard it, the whisper. "Adanna." I gasped and stepped back. "Adanna, are you awake?" It was Obinna. I ran to the door and opened it quickly. He stood there, barefoot, shirt half-buttoned, breathing fast. "Sorry," he said. "I didn't mean to scare you. But I needed to see you." I stepped outside, closing the door behind me. "What happened?" He looked around before speaking. After your stepmother left, I followed her, just to be sure she left the village. My eyes widened. You followed her? He nodded. Yes. And Adanna, she didn't leave. My throat went dry. What do you mean? I saw her enter Mama Njidika's compound. I blinked. The herbalist. Yes. The same one people say does things at night. The one who makes love potion and other things. My legs felt weak. What is she doing there? I whispered. He looked at me, his jaw clenched. She's planning something. I don't know what. But whatever it is, it's not good. I looked away, my body trembling. I knew she wouldn't just leave. She never lets go. He stepped closer and held my hand. I won't let her hurt you. No matter what. Tears filled my eyes. No one has ever said that to me, I said. No one has ever fought for me. I'm not just saying it, Adanna, he said softly. I mean it. We stood there under the stars, hands held, hearts racing. Then the church bell rang out loud and sudden. Dong. We jumped. Dong. It was midnight. Mama F's voice echoed from inside. Who's out there? It's me, Mama, I called out quickly. Obina came too. She opened the door holding a broom like a sword. When she saw us, she sighed. Lovebirds. Can't you do this when the sun is up? Obina scratched his head. Sorry, Mama. I just came to warn her. Mama's face changed. Warn her. He nodded. Something's not right. That stepmother of hers, she's not finished. Mama F's eyes turned sharp. I knew it. That woman smells like snake oil. She looked at me. From tomorrow, you won't leave this compound without someone with you. You hear? I nodded slowly. But deep in my heart, I knew something had already been set in motion. Something dark. Something waiting. And I feared the next time it came, it wouldn't knock. The next morning, something was wrong. Even before I opened my eyes, I could feel it. The air was thick. Heavy. Like something bad had entered the room and was hiding in the corners. I sat up and looked at Mama F. She was already awake, sitting at the edge of her bed, lips moving silently in prayer. What's wrong, Mama? I asked. She opened her eyes and stared at me. I don't know, my daughter, she said softly. But I had a dream. A dark one. My heart skipped. What kind of dream? She stood and walked to the small wooden stool where she kept her Bible. I saw a snake, big and black, slithering into this compound. It climbed the mango tree and watched us. Its eyes were red. It didn't bite. It just watched. I swallowed hard. And then, she turned slowly. It opened its mouth and laughed like a human. I felt a cold chill run down my spine. That mango tree stood right outside the church. I think it's a warning, she said. I nodded silently, too afraid to speak. By afternoon, the heat had become unbearable. Even the goats hid under trees, panting. Obina didn't come by. He had gone to the next village to deliver some clothes. I sat on the wooden bench outside the church, fanning myself with a piece of curtain, when I saw it. Smoke. Thin, black smoke, rising from behind the mango tree. I stood up slowly. There was no one there. Just the tree. And the smoke. I stepped forward. My heart was pounding. The closer I got, the stronger the smell became. Burning herbs. Like something out of a shrine. I turned the corner and stopped. A small clay pot sat at the base of the mango tree. Smoke poured out of it. Inside were bones, red cloth, and something that looked like a feather. My name was written on a piece of leaf tied to the pot. My name. Adanna. I spun around. Mama F stood behind me, eyes wide. "Who did this?" she whispered. I couldn't speak. My lips were frozen. We both knew who did it. Alabo. Mama F stepped forward and kicked the pot with her foot. "Back to sender," she shouted. "Whatever evil this is, it will not stay in this house." The pot rolled and broke against the tree trunk, spilling its contents. I stood there, shaking. My legs felt weak. "Go inside," Mama shouted. Quickly. I ran into the church, heart racing, the smell still in my nose. Mama came in after me, locked the door, and pulled me into a tight hug. "She wants to scare you," she said. "But she doesn't know who she's fighting." Tears ran down my cheeks. "She used my name, Mama." "My name?" "Yes," Mama said. "But your name is not hers to use." That night, I couldn't sleep again. Not because of fear, but because I knew something had changed. This wasn't just bullying anymore. This was war. And war always comes with a price. Morning didn't come with peace. It came with whispers. Loud ones. From outside. I heard them even before I opened my eyes. "Did you see the church door? Blood, I'm telling you. Real blood. God forbid. That girl has brought bad luck." Mama F was already outside by the time I rushed to the door. I opened it slowly, and froze. There, on the front door of the church, was a red smear. Thick. Fresh. Blood. Written in it were 2 words. "Come back." I staggered back. My knees hit the floor. "Mama," I whispered, voice cracking. "It's her. It's Alabo. She did this." Mama F's face was tight with anger. "Witchcraft," she spat. "Bold, naked witchcraft." The villagers began to gather. Some pointed. Some whispered. Some looked at me like I was cursed. "She brought this here," one woman muttered. "She should leave," another said. "Before something worse happens." Tears welled in my eyes. Why was it always me? Why was I the problem when all I ever did was survive? "I'm not going anywhere," I shouted suddenly. Everyone turned. She chased me from my father's house. She beat me, starved me, called me names. And now that I've found peace, she wants to take that too. My voice shook, but I didn't stop. "I'm not going anywhere. If she wants me, let her come face me in daylight." The crowd went quiet. Mama F stood beside me, her voice strong and clear. "You all heard her. This girl is not the problem. The woman chasing her is. Witchcraft or not," Mama added, "Adanna is under this roof. And as long as she is here, no demon will touch her." Some people murmured, some nodded. Then I saw Obina walking up the path, eyes scanning the door, his face darkening. He didn't say a word. He marched straight to the door, dipped his hand into a bowl of water by the step, and began to wash off the blood. Everyone washed. Silent. When he finished, he turned to the crowd. "Let me see the person who will raise a finger against Adanna." Just one person. No one moved. Obina turned to me. "Go inside." "Obina." "Now." I obeyed. Inside, my hands were still shaking. Obina came in minutes later. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He walked to me, sat down, and looked me straight in the eyes. "This has gone too far," he said. I nodded. "I'm not just going to wait anymore," he continued. "If your stepmother wants to use darkness, then I'll fight her with truth." "How?" I asked, almost in a whisper. He leaned closer. "By going to the chief." My eyes widened. You can't. The chief is her brother. I don't care. I'll go to the palace, in public, with people around. I'll say everything I know. I'll speak the truth. I held his hand, fear crawling up my spine. What if they come for you? Let them come, he said. But they won't touch you. Not while I'm still breathing. A tear slipped from my eye. Not because I was afraid. But because, for the first time in my life, someone was willing to fight for me with fire. Not just words. Action. And in a village ruled by silence, that was the biggest threat of all. The palace was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that didn't bring peace, but warning. Obinna and I stood at the entrance, facing the heavy wooden gates carved with the images of past chiefs and village gods. I still think this is dangerous, I whispered. He didn't turn. Sometimes danger is the only way to get justice. A palace guard approached us with a long stick and a bored look. Why are you here? He asked. Obinna straightened his back. We need to speak to the chief. It's urgent. The guard raised a brow. The chief is not seeing visitors today. Obinna didn't blink. Tell him it's about his sister. Alabo. The guard hesitated. Obinna added, louder this time, tell him the whole village will hear this if he refuses. The guard looked at us again, eyes narrowing. He turned and walked inside. Obinna held my hand. His was warm and firm. Mine was sweaty and shaking. Are you sure about this? I whispered. He nodded. Even if they silence me, they'll know the truth. And you'll never be alone again. Minutes later, the gate creaked open. Come in, the guard said, expression unreadable. We walked into the compound, the sun casting long shadows on the ground. My feet felt heavy. Like I was walking into a trap. The chief sat on a large stool under a canopy. Two elders sat beside him. And on his left was Alabo. Dressed in white. Smiling like a serpent. So, the chief said, his deep voice echoing, the stray child and the tailor. Obinna didn't flinch. We came to speak the truth. Alabo chuckled. You mean lies, dressed in drama? The chief raised a hand. Let the boy speak. Obinna stepped forward. In this village, he began, voice clear, we pretend a lot. We hide evil with greetings and bow to wickedness in the name of family. He pointed at Alabo. This woman has beaten, starved, and nearly killed her stepdaughter, Adanna. She chased her from her home. She has now brought charms to the church compound, threatened her with blood signs, and plans to destroy her. Gasps ran out. Alabo stood, furious. Lies. All lies. Obinna didn't stop. She even placed a charm under the mango tree, with Adanna's name written on it. I saw it. So did others. The chief turned to me. Is this true, girl? My throat felt dry, but I nodded. Yes. Everything he said. Do you have proof? Mama F suddenly stepped into the palace compound, holding something wrapped in a cloth. I brought it, she said. She unwrapped the cloth and dropped it on the floor. The broken pot. The red stained leaf. My name, still visible.